Now we want you to share with us our latest and greatest dream. A place of hopes and dreams, facts and fancy, all in one. That's it, right here. Disneyland.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of the Way of Magic podcast. I'm Steve, and I'm joined, of course, by my good friend over there, Armando.
Hi there, everyone.
Hey. And we're back to talk about Disney and Disneyland specifically, with some pretty good topics coming up, I guess. Not in the news.
No
news.
the news is
really.
not for us at all, which is kind of unfortunate.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
poor Nutmeg.
there's a yeah.
But that's the only news.
For those of you who aren't locals, it was a stray cat that roams around the park. Unfortunately, it died, which is actually very sad. You know, you never want to hear an animal die, but yeah. I mean, we had no attachment to it, but you know.
No, Sam's my cat.
I've only ever seen them.
Disneyland Hotel.
I've ever seen them in the distance. I've never actually gone up to them, so. No, I'm always too busy for it. I got my own pets here at home, so.
It's true, yeah.
So unfortunate news, obviously, but no, you're right. It's not even our own. Walt Disney World, is finally lifting reservations. Well, they had announced that a while back as well, but I think they re-announced it again. But they're also doing a thing where annual pass holders and cast members get specific days. I forgot what they're calling them.
Good to go days.
Yeah. And where they basically do not need a reservation at all, and they are just they can just show up.
Yeah. So this will probably there wasn't, I don't believe, too much details, but
no.
I mean, you can imagine like weekdays, I mean, holidays and stuff like that. I think they'll keep the
probably, yeah. I don't think that's gonna go away. But yeah, and I mean, we were talking about it before, like we had hit record. It was we don't know if the reservation is gonna get lifted here anytime soon. It will eventually, obviously. That's not gonna be around forever. But I mean, I don't think it's gonna happen soon because it's not in any way, shape, or form like to the point where we need it. Honestly, we don't have 4 different parks that it becomes a hassle to kind of like, you know, and we're definitely not a tourist attraction like Walt Disney World.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, so I mean, I think we're probably stuck with that for another year or so.
Yeah, well, see, I mean, just the crowds are just, even now, they're still,
it's still
busy. So I think they probably like that they know, okay, we can cut it off at a certain point. And you know what? There's been times where, I don't know if this ever happened to you, where you'd get to the park on a Saturday and they hit capacity or something, and they were turning people away.
Yeah, it's happened before in the past. I've actually never, because we always go in the morning, so we never have anything to worry about. I know you though. You would get there in the afternoons, sometimes in the evenings.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that was probably a problem for you a couple of times, but yeah, no, I never had that. There were times where I was in the park and they were like, "Hey, we've cut capacity. There's no more people in the park," and you can definitely feel those days for sure. But I've never experienced getting turned away unless my reservation wasn't working that day, and that has happened to me one time. And then all I had to do all I had to do was I guess I didn't like hit like save on it or whatever, so I just had to do it that luckily the reservation wasn't out, so I was able to do it at the gate with 5 minutes, but that was about it.
No, this I know that Disney World, it was just a big issue because it was like if you wanted to go to Magic Kingdom, but you had a reservation for Epcot, it was a whole thing. You had to go to Magic Kingdom, click in your ticket there, and then go to Epcot or wherever else you want to go. So that's good that they're gonna have that changed.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's like kind of weird. I just don't specifically see any reason for us to have that. So I mean, like, I didn't think it was that much of a problem, but we haven't traveled there since. Well, you haven't been there in a while. I know that, and I've never been there myself. Yeah. But I know you. The only time you've gone is pre-pandemic. So
no, we went.
Oh
in,
no, you
2021.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, you went during
yeah.
pandemic.
And
but
it's well, I mean, we did the reservation when it was.
But was it a
when we were
hassle?
going on vacation. Not really, but we also did 1 day 1 parks. So
okay.
we just kind of planned it. We were like, okay, Magic Kingdom, and we did it far enough in advance where it was also before, like, we did this in like August of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
So not all that revenge travel had really come up yet.
Yeah.
It was there, but it wasn't like it was. So we were like, okay, we got to plan our days, and it was nice to have it all set.
I'd imagine, yeah, and I think that's probably the easiest way to do it if you're not a local person for Florida. You just do 1 day 1 parks anyway, because that's I'm at least anybody that I know that's traveled to Walt Disney World always does it that way anyway. They always do 1 day parks. Because it's yeah.
There's no you're leaving money on the table. Honestly, you're wasting your time. Because it's not like California Adventure Disneyland kind of thing. You can bounce between. And we do that all the time.
I know. Yeah, they're not like within a couple hundred yards of each other.
Right. Yeah. No. You got to take a bus. You got to take a monorail. You get something to get over there.
So it's
much easier.
Yeah. So but again, so obviously they need it, I guess, more than we do. But good for them, man. Good for them.
Yeah. And the dining plan's coming back. The Disney dining plan for them. So. All those foodies in Florida, sorry, you're gonna go, because what happens whenever they did before the dining plan, the menus were a lot more they were more unique and stuff. So you could go to different restaurants and get different types of food and stuff like that. Now, because you're paying one flat price, every restaurant has to have a steak. Every restaurant has to have something. It always has to have that same.
You're gonna get
formula
the Carthay circle of treatments.
Right. So, but it's really coming back to the way it was.
Well, that's how it is for Walt Disney World. That's all the news we really have, unless you want to count the Little Mermaid previews, which everybody says is actually really good. So,
yeah, I mean, it was great in 1989. It'll be great in 2023.
Hopefully.
Do we ever? Are they doing original music, or is this?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's been. I think there is it's a lot. I think there is one original song, that that I know of anyway. If I think that, but I do know there is one original song at least. They've obviously changed some words to certain things. I saw "Kiss the Girl" was like a whole thing, which I don't really care. You could change that. You could not. I don't really care.
Yeah.
So I mean, but I mean, as long as it's a good movie, I could care less. So.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the soundtrack. I could just listen to the soundtrack.
Yeah. Oh, from what I heard in the trailers, it's really good.
Yeah, she's a really good singer. I forgot what her name is. Haley something.
No.
Halle
Berry.
Is it okay?
Halle Berry's.
Is it really?
It's Halle Berry, I think. I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Well. If only we had devices that could go.
Yeah,
I'll have to look it up. But she's a very good singer. So
yes, she is.
I'm excited about that. And did you get a chance? Have you seen Guardians?
I have actually. I saw it yesterday.
Oh, you did?
I saw it yesterday. Have you?
I haven't seen it yet. No, I'm gonna go.
Well, we're gonna get off. We're gonna get off tangent really quickly here. Great movie.
All right.
Love this movie.
Grab your popcorn, everyone.
It is literally. I cried. So I'm not afraid to admit it. I cry at a lot of movies. Okay, I'm an emotional person. But it is legitimately a very sad movie, in terms of just like the backstory sequences. Obviously I'm not gonna go into too much because you haven't seen it, but there's a couple parts where I just bawled my eyes out. Like from the beginning to the end, I was kind of crying, to be honest with you. I cried. I want to say like at least 7 times. At least 7 times. This movie broke me, man. I was bawling. I was doing the type of thing in the theater, you know what I'm saying?
Oprah ugly cry right there.
Yeah. The only other time I cried really bad was Infinity War, And my a couple of my coworkers actually went to go see the movie, and they were talking about it, and they were like, "Have you seen it yet?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't yet. I'm actually gonna go on Monday." And then and they're like, "Oh, well, it's like it's really good." And I was like, "Have you guys cried?" Because I know a lot of people cried. And my brother had actually seen it before me, so he even like said he cried really bad. And they were like, "Yeah, we definitely like my coworkers were like we definitely like it's a sad movie. Like we of course we cried." And then I was like, "How much did you guys cry though?" He goes, "Oh, they're like, oh, I feel like it was an okay amount." And then I was like, "Did you guys cry at Infinity War?" This was me gauging like how bad I was gonna cry. And I was like, "You guys cried at Infinity War?" And they're like, "No, no," and I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna ball my eyes out then. I already know."
Mm-hmm.
So and sure enough, I did, man. I did. Um, it's a good movie. That's a really good movie. There is some disturbing scenes in there though. I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's pretty disturbing. For a Marvel Disney movie anyway.
Yeah. Oh, they're kind of going darker now. It seems
Yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
they're, and I think, I mean, I'm not the biggest Marvel person. I really just watch the movies that I like. You know,
Yeah.
Iron Man, Captain America. I saw the Thor movies and stuff like that. This is kind of the last of like that generation.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
like original. That's what I'm going to be so sad about is that there's no
It's
other
also yeah. I mean, it's also kind of
characters
sad
of them really.
because like I mean, it is like you said, like this is the last movie James Gunn is doing for Marvel, at least right now anyway. And it's
We'll
just
see
like
how DC works.
yeah, I'm actually excited for that though. But yeah,
See
it's
Suicide Squad.
I actually you didn't like it. I liked it actually. I thought it was okay. It was better than the first one.
Yeah, it was better than that. Yeah. Well, hey, when you are the barrel and you're the bottom of the barrel,
Yeah, no, I mean, right.
there was nowhere else to go but up.
But it's I mean he completely 100% writes the Guardians movies by himself, so it's cohesive from start to finish. Funny, of course. Very sad though. This is probably like in terms of just making me cry and how sad it is. This is like I'm like this isn't saying that it's like a terrible movie. This is probably my least favorite Guardians though, just because of how
Hmm.
like how sad and emotional it is in there. That just makes me
Right.
like I'm just like dude like it's a good movie, but I'm just like, dude, I did not like how sad it made me and everything, and I was like, dude, it's a good movie though. It's a good movie though. I liked it.
That's the thing because Guardians is like it has the emotion, but
Yeah. Oh,
it's
every
more of
single
like
one
a
has made me cry. Every single one. So,
they're good films.
mhm.
They really are.
Yeah.
And you know what? That soundtrack. In fact, I can see it right over there. I got the both soundtracks from
Guardians
both
one
movies.
specifically was
Yeah.
really well, really
Yeah.
well. This one was okay. I didn't really, none of them really hit home for me on this one, but the first Guardians soundtrack was phenomenal.
Mm. Uga Chaka.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Come and get your
Well,
love.
see now he has a Zune, right? So it's like
Yeah.
80s, 90s. It's like 90s
90s.
music or something like that.
Mhm.
90s. Okay. Get ready for some Smash Mouth and some bare naked ladies.
So it's really good though. I think you'll like it. But aside from that, aside from Little Mermaid, um, it's really about it.
That's really
Yeah. So,
I mean, we could talk about the Disneyland villas, the Disneyland hotel villas having there, which I don't even know the whole details, so I probably won't even. I'm not even gonna start it. But
so today's
the,
topic is
the
actually gonna be about we're gonna be talking about some like old stuff, honestly.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um, we have a not even anything really lined up. We were just kind of like let's just talk
yeah,
about old things that we remember.
yeah. We call the segment "Do you remember?"
Mm-hmm.
And so we're just kind of gonna bounce it off, like, "Hey, do you remember this? Do you remember that?" And it's gonna be a nice long conversation, I bet,
So
because
sit back,
we're
enjoy.
very nostalgic people.
Yes, yes, we are. As you can
And
tell in previous podcast episodes, if you actually
that's
if you
true.
watch and listen. So, um,
Exactly.
yeah, we as you can tell, we don't format our podcast too much. So, we really just try to do an off the cuff thing to give you guys a genuine, natural conversation. Um, none of this is like remotely scripted, except news first, then topic. So,
Exactly.
aside from that, but yeah, let's just get into it.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, we'll kind of start off the segment as we were talking about Captain EO,
Yeah.
Captain EO tribute, because neither one of us were around for the original
Mm-hmm.
Captain EO, but we were there for the tribute. from 2010 until 2015, I think 2015.
I want to say maybe 2016 even.
Was it 2016? Because I
Some
remember
it was definitely, I was definitely in high school when, and I think it was still there. So I think so. Maybe it was 2015,
yeah,
2016.
because I remember it went away for. Remember they would like take it away and
Yeah.
then they would run like the Tomorrowland um movie preview and then that would go away and then they brought Guardians of the Galaxy and
Hmm.
they did that and
Yeah.
so yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, they would do the
Uh,
yeah they would do the whole preview thing, and then they stopped doing that and kind of kept Neo there, and they moved the preview stuff. Oh, sorry, they moved the preview stuff to Bugs Life, actually, in the Bugs Life theater.
right.
Remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Because
yeah, that's right.
they had the whole Ant-Man preview there,
That's right.
which was actually really cool. That was probably one of the coolest um like previews for anything, because they had the Ant-Man suit in there and it fit really well because you're in an ant tunnel. Um, so it felt really well with that, and I think that was like they did a bang up job. I think they also did Maleficent there too.
They did, yeah, they did. Oh well, yeah, 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 that one they did.
Yeah.
And then they took the old Muppet Vision theater and turned that into like they had the Frozen sing along. They had
Yeah,
Alice in Wonderland had a preview I think there for a
I
while.
think so. They had a whole bunch of stuff.
Um yeah,
But I mean,
that got
since you
that
took us to
got
DCA, I told you we were just gonna be jumping around. I'm sorry. Since you
We got to get back to Captain Neo though,
we
because
will get back to
I
Captain
got
Neo though,
that.
100%.
Yes.
But since you talked to DCA though, you just reminded me of something when you said Alice in Wonderland. Do you remember that horrible Alice in Wonderland rave that they would do? The stupid
Oh,
EDM
horrible?
style. You liked it? You liked the
Hor
Mad Tea Party?
Well, I liked electronica better. But
Yeah, 100%.
I
The
mean,
Tron
it
one
had
was 1,000
Tron
times better.
was amazing. Electronica. Now, okay, if we're gonna do, because I have opinions on this.
Okay, yeah, please.
I think electronica number one.
Okay.
Okay. After that you have probably Mad Tea Party, Glowfest from 2010 or 2009. That one was really bad. And then there was like that weird we got to bring Mad Tea Party back, but we got rid of most of the infrastructure Mad Tea Party experience,
Yeah,
and that would be at the very bottom.
I don't know. I see, but so, okay, so the reason I liked electronica more is because it was more Daft Punk style type music,
Yes,
more
yeah, yeah.
that sort of EDM. And then they
Mhm.
had obviously Flynn's arcade there. That was great. That was amazing.
That was awesome. Yeah.
I missed that arcade. Honestly, they should just keep that in an arcade.
It
Um,
really should have because it was so busy.
it was, yeah, it was
So
really good. And
busy.
you had the old style coins, which I
Hmm.
have around here somewhere. We kept them. My mom was smart and actually kept them. Um,
I have some coins from Mad Tea Party.
oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
But that's the thing though, also, and like and then they had Xboxes and Wii's outside the arcade where you were able to play the Tron Evolution game.
Yeah.
Which I actually tried to replay recently on the PS5 through the through the streaming service they have. It's terrible. That game actually kind of sucks, not gonna lie. But I that's the reason I also like electronica more, is because I'm not really into full dancing. I'm not into the whole EDM, you know, Wonderland type thing, or whatever it's called. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
It definitely had that EDC
yeah,
kind of like
EDC. Yeah, I'm not into all that stuff.
EDC children's.
I'm not a big dancer, so for me, the music was cool, but obviously for me, what attracted me more was the arcade and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So Mad Tea Party, when it kind of was just mainly just dancing was the appeal, I was like, oh, this kind of sucks.
But it was, I mean, electronic had better music and just the whole aesthetic was better.
Yes, I
It
mean,
just fit my vibe a lot
they
more.
had the de-reser at the end, right? It was, if I remember correctly, it was
Yeah.
at the end, like where the
Uh-huh.
old portrait was, right? That was cool. That
Yeah.
was
No,
cool.
and they did such a good job. And then every night at dusk in front of the Frank Lloyd Wright
Hmm.
bathrooms, they would do like the whole thing and they would play the Journey song. Oh, but I mean, Mad Tea Party though had its moments.
But
The character design
the lighting was
with
cool.
like
The stage was cool.
yeah, the stage was cool. The fact that because I'm looking up old pictures of it right now. The fact they had like Tweedledee and Tweedledum as like bouncers that would just kind of
You know.
try to be like hype men at the same time. I mean, it was one of those things where you're like, I don't see Disney doing that today. Like it just was kind of this weird,
Yeah.
kooky, off the
Do
kind of out of
you
left field thing.
do you remember that game, that rated M Alice in Wonderland game that I guess was the first rated M game, if I remember correctly, or something like that? Is American Alice McGee?
No, I never.
Oh, okay. So there's like a whole. It's like a basically it takes Alice in Wonderland and it like makes it into a weird steampunk horror game. And it's called American Alice McGee. I think it's like American Alice McGee or something like that. Something American, Alice McGee or whatever. Um,
I think
and
I've heard of
it's
McGee then.
yeah, it's American Alice McGee, something like that. And it's like a whole thing. Like you like she basically goes back. She's insane. Like the whole thing is she's insane. Like she's literally in a mental asylum, and this whole type of thing. And um, like she goes back to Wonderland and kills everybody. Like she kills the Mad Hatter. Like the like total total them. I think the Caterpillar type of thing. And they made a sequel that came out, I think, in the late 2000s, like 2010, maybe 2012, maybe 13, whatever. It's called Alice Madness Returns, and like it's a whole thing. Like apparently it was a better game. I never played it, but it was like, supposed to be like a whole like kind of horror creepy game. Um, I never played it myself. My sister and brother did though. They liked it, but that's what that always kind of reminded me of though, was that whole like Alice American Alice McGee thing with the like Wonderland like little dance fest type of thing. That's what it reminded me of. I'm 100% know that was pure like coincidental in my mind. That was not association. It is not made by Disney whatsoever. Has no ties with it.
Although I think there's some people on Diz Twitter who think that's why they closed Alice in Wonderland this summer because they're going to retheme it to that video game. Probably.
Who thinks that? Like, why would that even like?
Do you remember about a month ago when somebody said they were going to take Splash Mountain and turn it into
Yeah, you're
an
right.
Avatar
You're
ride?
right. You're right. Yeah, people are just you're right.
You never know.
I don't. I like. First of all, that is way beyond any child's reach. No child knows about that right now. You like, it's such a like a weird like niche thing to be into. That would never even be. And if they did, I mean, that Alice in Wonderland was kind of like legit. Like the way she looked was legitimately kind of creepy. Her outfit was cool. They had a lot actually. It was popular for a minute there because they had a lot of Halloween costumes about it. A lot of Halloween costumes.
Yeah.
With the whole bloodstained like thing and all that stuff. With the whole,
that one.
yeah. Like the dark blue. You remember the dark blue outfit that like had that kind of. That was from the game. Yeah, there was a whole like that was popular for a minute, but yeah, that was.
I do remember when everything was. I mean, the Tim Burton Alice in Wonderland
Yeah,
took
when that
hold
came out too. That came out. That was
pretty. Yeah.
maybe they updated that.
Yeah. I don't. No. We
With
can't let that happen.
the evil queen and the giant head. Yeah.
No.
Helena,
No.
Helena
We
Bonham
don't. We don't
Carter.
need Helen Bonham Carter.
Yeah.
No thanks. Speaking of overpaid actors,
Oh, whoa,
um,
whoa.
no, she's very good.
Oh, she is. She
She's
is.
good in The
It's
Crown. She's good.
not my fault. Tim
Um,
Burton cast his wife and ex-wife and everything. That he
ex-wife, yeah.
did.
Word to the wise: don't cast your wife
Tell that to
in a
James Gunn.
movie and then get a divorce. Oh, who's he married to?
Did you ever watch Peacemaker? I feel like you probably didn't, but like, anyway, the main chick in that, is I think at the time they were dating, and I think during the production of Peacemaker, he got engaged to her. They're married now. She's in Guard. She has like a small little role in Guardians. But I think
Like Adam Sandler's wife does.
in every single movie that he makes, yeah. Yeah, but he always it's kind of sad with Adam Sandler, man. He literally makes himself get like a much like better wife. Like it's so sad. It's so sad. Like he never has his wife is never his wife in any movie.
I know. It's always like, oh, hey, it's Selma Hayek,
Yes.
and then his real wife's like the waitress.
Yeah.
In the bar.
Give me Selma Hayek. Give me Jennifer Aniston. Anybody but my wife. I'm like, oh, all right. I guess you can, right? But, like...
Yeah, but speaking of celebrities, do you remember Golden Dreams? Speaking of California Adventure, the old show that they tore down to make Little Mermaid.
No, I do not.
You don't.
I don't remember anything in that building besides Little Mermaid. My memory does not go back that far. But I also never. I remember Old California Adventure, but I would rarely go over there, like to that specific area, because I didn't like at the time. I didn't like California Screaming. I didn't like the only ride I would get on would be the Golden Zephyr, and even that was sometimes iffy. But which we talked about recently, where I was like, I can't get on that now. Like I'm terrified to get on that ride now. But back then, I loved that ride.
Yeah, no, it's.
I remember Mahal of Madness.
Yeah.
and I think that's about it. I remember the orange. I never would go on the swings. I hated the swings, which I actually love
No,
now. Just ironic.
really.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. It's a fun time. It's a fun time.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I
What
don't remember that specific. I don't remember that building.
the this it starred Whoopi Goldberg
No, I okay. Yes, I do
as
remember that. Yes, then I do remember that.
okay.
Then I didn't realize that was
It's
the theater. Then yeah. Didn't
yeah,
they also have like
yeah.
a
I mean, they
villains
tore it down
thing?
and stuff.
Didn't they have like a villains thing at one point too?
They must have done that. Oh,
Like where they had like
when
literally
they
the
did it,
villains come out, like it was the old. I remember the specific, but I don't know if I just made it up in my head. But I remember the specific like thing where because I hated the old hag, and it was the old hag costume they had in Phantasmic that she would come out like they would walk down the aisles and everything. I remember, and they would like I
oh, I don't remember.
specifically remember that. I don't know if I'm insane if I made that
Maybe it
up.
was during a Halloween party because they used to have the Halloween party over there. Maybe they
Maybe
like a tree trail or something.
I just remember being traumatized, but I do remember the Golden Dreams thing. I didn't know that's what it was called, but I do remember yes, the Whoopi,
Yeah.
yeah. When you said Whoopi Goldberg, I was like, oh, dude, I immediately know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Was can we? I mean, honestly, original California Adventure was just the ABC like stars because you
yeah.
could go over to the bread factory and Rosie O'Donnell
Mm,
and Colin, what's his name? Colin Macquarie, the guy from Whose Line Is It Anyway?
I have
He
no
was
idea.
there.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Oh,
But
they were
my
there.
favorite thing was the tortilla one. That was
Tortilla one was good.
that
Yeah,
was the best one. You get a
that was good.
nice flour tortilla, little nice flour
Quite a nice.
tortilla.
Yeah.
Ugh, God, man, that thing was great. That thing was great.
Uh,
I'm sad that Ghirardelli took that over, but it's. I mean, I am and I'm not.
mhm.
But like, but man, that tortilla factory was ahead of its time, ahead of its time.
It was. It was. And see, now it'd be so popular. I mean, now you couldn't even think about taking that out just because people they love those little like unique snacks and
Yeah, the
stuff.
sourdough bread thing
You
is
can get some
cool.
fresh. Hmm.
So I
Yeah,
mean, like, get to see
yeah,
how they make that. That's really cool.
yeah. I don't really. I'll be honest with you. With the exception of Golden Dreams, I don't remember much of that part. I don't remember Paradise Pier that much
I don't remember that much either.
as a kid.
The only specific thing I remember is, um, like not where like all the food court like Pacific Wharf and all that stuff. I really don't remember that part. But to the right of it, aside from the Golden Dreams thing, I do remember a lot of that stuff. I do remember the Golden Zephyr still. I remember the orange. I remember like all kind of those attractions over there, Mahalo Madness specifically
Mhm.
more than anything. But
Yeah.
it's mainly that area and the entrance because the entrance was always just so cool. I liked it,
Oh,
with the
you'd like, yeah,
I loved it, dude. It was great, and it was always playing the uh,
that like they're always playing Beach Boys music, and
yes, yeah.
I remember like they just for some reason I always went in right as they're playing California Girl, and that was always the song.
The one that I always heard was the Everybody Surf and
Oh yeah,
Surfing
yeah,
in USA.
yeah.
That's the I always heard that for whatever reason. Like I always just assumed that was like the one track that played there, and I was like, oh, but yeah,
Has yeah.
I remember that.
I'm
That was great. It was great fun.
I ate at Burger Invasion one of the first times I went to California Adventure.
Hmm.
We went with the family, I think, and they were people. The kids were my cousins were like, "No, we got to go eat at McDonald's," and I'm like, "Why are we eating at McDonald's?"
Why you were the
Because
kid that was like, "What is wrong with you? We are in the
exactly,
park. Why are we leaving?"
exactly. And I was like, "Oh, okay. I guess we'll eat in this burger-shaped rocket thing." But
I the old California Adventure, man. What a that was a nostalgic thing. I love that so much. It was so good, so good.
do we
Ah,
love it because it's not there anymore? Because I feel like when it was going away, I was kind of sad.
what? No, I mean I don't know. I feel like I was still too young to really bask in it.
Mhm.
Obviously, like I don't have the appreciation of Disney that I did uh back then that I do now. Um, so it's hard to say really, me personally, but from the memories that I had, I love that thing. So
Yeah, I mean, it had its moments. There was also a time too when Disneyland, like when we were younger, Disneyland was a little worse for wears. I mean,
mhm.
they just it didn't look as good as it does now, and California Adventure just looked better because it was
It was
newer,
new, yeah.
and so it was something different.
I mean,
But
because that opened 2000, right? Literally opened.
2001, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we are. Well, I think you're a little bit older than it. I'm.
Yeah, I'm
I'm.
4 years old.
I'm a year older than it. So we're. Yeah. I mean, that was kind of a park that we grew up with. Actually, that's like so. That's why we can remember so much of it too. Is because
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
we. That was our opening Disneyland. So.
That was exactly, yeah. But and it's also too, I mean, there's all these people who it's like now it's like a rite of passage. It's like your thing. You're like, I experienced
Which is
'01 original California Adventure.
which is kind of sad too because now you kind of look at how what California Adventure become and I don't know I don't I kind of it's one of those things where I'm like we can skip California Adventure, let's go to Disneyland, let's do all this stuff, right?
It had 10 years where it was perfect. Honest, I mean, when they finished Condor Flats and made it into the Grizzly Airfield thing, I was like, this is peak California Adventure. Everything looks good. Never mind the fact that they were still running the Manatee Party in the dark corner of the park over there, but everything else just looked so good.
I remember
And
the Redwood Trail, the challenge
yeah,
one that before when it was it's still Brother Bear, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But like I don't know, I feel like stuff doesn't work over. I haven't been over there in a while because it's mainly for kids, and I just would get laughed at if I did the stuff over there. But I used to go in there all the time, do the cave where you put your palm on and they tell you the animal
Yeah.
you are, all that stuff. And it was just kind of nice walking down there sometimes. But I remember specifically that so much. I remember doing that so much as a little kid. And also when you were over there, just the old like when it was Christmas and they had you meet Santa Claus, the reindeer and all that stuff.
Yeah. Hmm.
That was cool. They don't do that anymore, actually.
Uh, well, no, they did it last year, this year, because we got pictures at.
No, but they don't do that. Do they do the reindeer still?
No,
Yeah.
no, but I was gonna bring that up because Disneyland, where Galaxy's Edge is,
Yes, that's
used
where
to
it used to
be
be a whole thing, a
used
whole
to
walkthrough thing.
the whole thing.
I
It was
loved it.
amazing.
I loved it.
It was awesome
That
because
was
you
that
had
was
the
fun.
reindeer there, you had the cows
Yeah,
and
was it like a cabin, like Santa's cabin or
goats.
something? I don't even know what it was supposed to be. I just
Yeah, 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 yeah.
it's like
Well, it was Grandma's cabin every other time of the year.
uh,
Then it was the Halloween cabin, and then yeah, and then it became Santa's cabin
which
and
I
stuff.
remember
No,
only
it was.
specifically going there during. I don't know if it's because we went so many times during Christmas and all that stuff that I remember that specifically. But I don't remember that cabin any other time. I just remember it Christmas. That's the only time I remember it.
Because they used to have the at Halloween they used to have the pumpkin carvers carving pumpkins right outside, and they
Oh,
had
I
the
do remember that.
little uh vignettes that they had.
Yes, yes, I do remember that. Yeah. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, it took for you to say the carvers for me to actually, um, like envision it. But no, I remember specifically like there would be like the old rocking chairs that have sleigh bells on there. They used to have the reindeers that you could actually kind of you were able to pet them, right? I remember correctly. You were able to pet them.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you could do that.
Um.
Yeah, they had a whole petting zoo over there.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. It was crazy, and then it's kind of weird because Santa was like obviously it's decorated with garland and stuff like that, like fake snow on the garland and everything, but like Santa's like literally in this rustic cabin, and you're just like over there sitting it. Like it's weird, man. But it was a fun time. I like that thing.
It was,
I
yeah,
miss it.
that was a cool one.
I miss
That
it.
see, Smuggler's Run.
Well, I mean,
I know.
if they update it, you know,
True. Yeah, yeah.
which I think they really should. I mean, I know they kind of limited themselves because they literally made the cockpit window the Millennium Falcon because it's supposed to be.
Hmm.
So they kind of limited themselves on like, oh, like you can be in like the Razor Crest or like the Slave One or like it's, they
Yeah.
kind of limited themselves on what they could do with that. But you can do different missions though, which I really hope happens because I mean, ooh boy, that thing is old real fast.
I think the Mandalorian. Now we're getting into the future. What we hope, but the Mandalorian should really get its
Yeah,
attraction.
yeah,
An
they
attraction.
should.
It needs one.
It should.
But
Yeah.
I do. Since we're back over here,
Would you want to get back on Captain Neo? Sorry
and
about
since
that.
we're over, oh no, yeah, no, it's all good. Well, since we're back over at Disneyland, um, I kind of wanted to go back to Captain EO
No,
and just
100%.
talk about that
Yeah,
because I mean, that gives me all the feels.
it was a good show.
It's very good. I mean, it's just I mean, it's kind of like an MTV music video, but it just represents, I don't know, it maybe because like my parents kind of instilled that nostalgia in me because they were there in the opening year
Yeah.
and were there when the crowds were crazy for this thing. But it's so quirky
I mean, you
and
got
different.
Michael Jackson, George Lucas. I think Steven Spielberg worked on it too. It's
No, what's his name? Francis Godfather,
oh
Francis
yeah
Ford
yeah yeah
Coppola.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it was George.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you can't you can't miss. You can't miss if you
yeah,
got those three. You know, so it's
yeah.
like
You, what was so funny about it was when they brought it back, my parents were like, oh, we've got to go see this because it's and I remember being so scared of it because I was used to Honey I Shrunk the Kid or Honey I Shrunk the
which
Audience,
I never
and
saw by the way.
you never saw Honey I
I
Shrunk
think it
the
freaked me out. I think I remember sitting there for
Oh,
a little bit, and then I remember I think some I don't remember. I just remember leaving the theater crying at Honey and Shrunk the Kids.
sounds about right. I hate well, no, because it's always the same thing. It's always like, let's poke you, let's
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
shoot water in your face or something. You're just like, I don't need this on my day. I don't know why, but I just
yeah.
don't.
Sounds about
But
right.
yeah, so I was so nervous about it, and then I remember going in, and the first shot is of the Heidi and Odie,
Hmm.
and you're like, oh, oh, and then it was also the first time I ever heard Michael Jackson's like speaking voice. So I was like sitting there, and I was like, oh, Cap. I was like, Michael Jackson's off,
Listen to a high pitched man. Just
and then there was always one line that bothered me
what
in
is it?
that show where he goes and he says, um, it, we're gonna do it right this time because we're the best.
Yeah, yeah,
If we
right.
don't, we'll get drummed out of the core. And you're like, wait. If you're the best, why are they gonna kick you out? No.
Yeah. The costume was cool. I liked his costume.
Oh yeah, no, it was cool. And the way
Michael,
that it would like,
yeah,
he could open it up and the lights would kind of
but
shine at
like
the same
Michael
time.
Jackson has always had cool costumes though. Like his wardrobe was just always cool. Um,
Yeah.
that was a good show though. It was a good show. The thing that freaked me out was the queen. Like at the end when
Oh
she was
yeah.
like the freaking half spider
Yeah.
lady. It was
It's so,
crazy.
but you know what's funny is my family, we quoted that movie all the time. We would always say every time anyone was leaving the house, we would say, "See you later, trash cans,"
It
and
was
stuff.
good, man.
It was
It
good.
was good. That they had the it was kind of like it's funny too because the puppets. Was it Jim Henson that made it? The puppets.
I don't, I don't know, and they do kind of have that creature shop look to them,
Yeah,
especially Idy and Odie.
yeah. Well, yeah, they had the Alf kind of like reminiscence thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those
so
guys,
it's
yeah,
like
and then Hooter,
yeah. Oh, I liked
the
Hooter.
elephant.
I'm pretty sure Hooter was just left over from um um name Max something from Star Wars. I forgot his name. It's Max Rebo. I think it's Max Rebo. I'm pretty
Yes,
sure.
he does look like that. I'm
I'm
like,
pretty sure it's a leftover costume. Um, but yeah, it was something, man. It was something.
fun fact. So, did you ever watch Sweet Life of Zack and Cody?
Yes, of course.
Did you ever watch the episode where Mr. Mosby's little or older brother comes to
The
visit?
is that Sweet Life on Deck one or?
No, this is the original. This is like the
Oh, it's
first
when he
version.
was like he was a smaller brother, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That is Hooter. That's the
Really?
actor who played him.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah. So he's, I don't know,
Hmm,
there's a little tidbit for you.
I did not know that.
But I love that. And I mean, the robot and stuff like that. It was just a great,
When it
and
transforms
the
into the
dance.
drums, that was cool.
Yeah, that was cool. I always wanted to know how that was done because if you look at the behind the scenes like footage of it, there's a guy in a costume
Yeah,
who plays the robot. But then every time you see the robot, I guess they just did like every time there was a close up, it was a person. Then
yeah,
every time they did it outward, it was like a puppet kind of basically
yeah. I
because
mean,
he didn't have a leg. He had a guitar thing.
it
It's
was
just
cool. It was a great
it
show.
was.
I do miss that show. It was great. You can find it on YouTube. Very low quality, but you can find it on
Mhm.
YouTube. They have it. Um,
Yeah, and it's not in 3D, it's 2D because it was on the one time it aired on, I think it was on MTV or HBO
that's crazy. I'm
back
surprised
in
they
the
actually don't have that on
80s.
Disney Plus.
I know.
That's
Well,
actually like
I don't know.
oh
Maybe they
yeah.
don't want to just
No,
get
yeah,
into the
you're
whole,
right. You're right. Yeah.
you know.
I
That's why they got rid of it. Well,
yeah.
they didn't get rid of it to begin with, but they
Yeah,
they
they
kind of
exited it. Yeah, yeah. Well, not touching on that, but we no, it was a good show though. It was a good show. I liked it.
It was.
The music was very good, and I liked the music.
I do, yeah. Oh,
Good choreography.
it was good. Yeah, good choreography. Just the whole thing was. It's just peak '80s
Yeah. Oh
kind
yeah.
of thing.
It was
It's
good.
like, yeah.
It was good,
That
man.
was awesome.
Doesn't get better than that. But since we actually brought up the whole poking and prodding thing, we're gonna go back to California Adventure.
Oh, okay, cool. That was my favorite part of poking.
Yeah. And it's tough to be a bug, man. It's tough to be a bug.
Yeah, we can't. Yeah.
I hated that show. I never got through that show.
I think I blacked out. I can only remember a few parts. I really can't. I don't know.
I just remember like what we talked about earlier, which was spiders come down, the bug spray, and I think like a flash water.
Yeah.
And you getting stabbed with like a was it like a what was it? Was it a bee or something? I don't remember what it was like that.
Yeah. Well, there were two things because I think they would poke your back,
They would do the thing,
and then they would, like all the bugs leave the theater or something like that, and they would crawl under.
That
you.
was cool though. That wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Because it's literally just like a mumpy seat. That's all it was. It wasn't even that bad. I remember that was funny. Excuse me, sorry. It's like type of thing. But no, I do remember the ending actually. I do remember the ending because I remember the ending. I think I would cry. My mom would always take me back in the theater and we'd do the ending. But I do remember because it opens up and they sing "Hi Ho."
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember
like
that. I do remember that. And then yeah, because I get the bumping, and the bumping was actually kind of relaxing to me sometimes because it kind of felt like a mini massage.
It's true. Yeah.
But
Well,
hated the stinging though. Hated the stinging. That thing.
Yeah, that's
God. And the spiders, because they came really low, really low.
Yeah, when you're a kid, they're really big
Yeah.
too. So but I remember the Hopper animatronic.
I don't.
Because as a kid,
I don't remember that.
it was probably one of the best animatronics. I mean, probably only to like Hondo Onaka. I mean, just the way how fluid it was.
The only thing I remember from Hopper is the statue outside. That was it.
Oh.
I don't remember that animatronic at all. I barely remember that show. I just remember the bug spray and like it was black and white and like a thing. I just remember like it was crazy.
From what I've heard from other people, it was a very funny show, and it was very entertaining. Like it just they.
And when you when you're terrified of bugs and as a little kid, it's like, oh Jesus Christ.
But you know what? The rest of that land, I don't think it gets half the credit. I really think Bugs Land was one of the. It was one of the most. It was immersive before that was a thing.
Yeah, the whole bamboo, like it was phenomenal, phenomenal.
Yeah, and then you look at like something like Toy Story Land. You're like, why couldn't you have gotten that quality there?
It was really good. I mean, Flix High Flyers, which is just now they reused that model for Inside Out. Mm-hmm. Which I used to live getting on that though. The Flix Flyers, the Ladybugs. Francis's, I forgot what it's called. It was like it was just basically teacups, but
it was like a horror version.
Yeah, that was cool. But the best one was the bumper cars.
Yeah, and then every time you'd hit, they would like make noises.
Oh god, I love the bumper cars. Dude, that was so cool. I remember that. And then Heimlich's Choo Choo Train. Underrated.
I was so underrated. Yeah.
And you get underneath the watermelon, smell the watermelon, the animal crackers. Dude, it was good. It was such a good thing, dude. I honestly do miss Bugs Land.
You know what? This is gonna sound like I'm trying to be some trendy millennial, trying to be edgy. I think it was better than Marvel.
100%. Well, right now, yeah, currently, 100%.
I don't see. I just don't see the rewritability of that stuff. But that's just me.
Yeah, no. I mean, hopefully that e-ticket attraction, man. Hopefully that thing.
Hopefully, yeah.
Redeems that land, because right now you're right. It's not even. There's nothing appealing to that besides Guardians for me. I know you hate that entirely, so I know that whole land is a whole monstrosity to you. But
I like it. I just wish I liked the experience of riding. I appreciate that it exists and it's a good ride.
Yeah, I understand.
But it's like my body.
The Doctor Strange show is cool.
But is that something you got to see over and over again, kind of thing? That's the question.
Well, I mean, they do change it periodically sometimes. I know it was Thor, and then when Multiverse Madness came out, they had America Chavez come out for that one. The choreography with the Black Panther, or not Black Panther, it was Taskmaster and Black Widow. That was cool. The Dora Milaje is pretty cool when they do that thing. Yeah.
Exactly. It's just
Yeah.
but yeah,
It is what it is with that.
it
But
is.
the only complaint I have about Bugs Land was the seats. The seats sucked. Those things were so uncomfortable. The whole butterfly,
the
the butterfly,
popsicles.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, what the heck? No, the popsicle benches were dope. I like the popsicle
Oh,
benches. The actual like butterfly, like one like
yes.
single, yeah. Those
Yeah,
things
yeah, yeah.
sucked.
Okay, I know what you're doing.
Those were not comfortable
Yeah.
at all.
No, they weren't.
Um,
But they looked good in the land.
yeah, they look good. The popsicle
Yeah.
benches were dope. I like the popsicle benches. Those were really cool. And then I like the Easter egg with Woody in there.
Yes, yeah, the whatever the
The
crunchies
Woody-O's or something. I was
The
like,
we
I think it was like Woody-O's. I don't know.
the Woody.
I remember an O in there.
Yeah, no, probably it was like a. But yeah, no, that was a good. That that was like one of the first immersive lands because yeah, you're right. You went through the box of cereal and you didn't know.
Mhm.
You really felt like you were transported. And then when they built Tower of Terror, you had that great like forced perspective thing where it looked like you were in the grass
Yeah.
and that was up in the distance and stuff. So that was really cool.
Have
But
its time, man. Have its time.
it was. It was. You know, and do you have any more?
Well, no, I was just gonna say I think it's kind of funny too how I was actually over that land by the time they announced Avengers Campus. I was like, dude, finally we're gonna get something better, all that stuff. And now I'm like, dude, I missed that. I need that land back actually.
Welcome to the Disney fan community.
It's like, dude, oh my god. Well, because Avengers Campus like seemed like it was gonna be so much better, like it really did.
It did, yeah. And I think the problem is because they built it all out of sync. So it's like uh Mission Breakout was already what 4 years old by the time it opened, and
Yeah, because they said that they needed something new. And they wanted something new for it, and they were like, "Well, let's just which I mean was smart. It was a great. It was like I'm not bashing it at all. It's a great attraction, but yeah, I don't know. It's just that's the only redeeming thing. Spider-Man just it was a total letdown.
that's yeah.
Total letdown.
So Tough to Be a Bug was better
God
than
no.
whatever.
God no. I'm glad that thing is gone. But
Now, what about the total Disney classic of the Farmers exhibit? What was it called? I gotta get the full name. Do you remember it?
no. What do you? No.
Where what was where where like Mater's is and that building that used to be all a part of
I do not remember. Do you not remember
Bonif Valley Farm. Yes, Bonifil Valley Farm. Is that what it is?
that? No, I don't remember that.
Wow.
I do not
It was
remember
to
that.
teach you all about agriculture
That sounds like
and
something I
the
wouldn't
valley.
remember. Yeah, that sounds like something I wouldn't remember. It
Do you
wasn't entertaining to me as a kid.
Yeah. Well, do you remember that Disneyland used to have a lot more educational
Yes,
stuff?
it
Because I
did.
remember when I was a kid, the Buzz Lightyear area with used to have a NASA uh
I think so. Yeah.
exhibit and then Innoventions.
I was about to say. You
Innovention,
want to talk
but
about
not
educational? Not even
education.
educational, but like educational and fun.
Yes. Well, did you I take it you experienced the original version of Innoventions. Like the one where you actually went in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
spinning
yes,
it's
and yeah,
spun around.
and it did the robot, which was really cool. And he
Nathan
sang
Lane
"It's
is
Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow."
I gotta clean this house. I
I
still remember that.
I shoot interventions. I to this day, Steve, I miss that thing so much, dude. Granted, I would stay in there and play video games, but like it was just amazing, man. I used to go and play that car game all the time. They used to have that
Yeah.
agent one up on the second level. They even had like a uh when they would do like the whole like Honda stuff, they would have a Honda car in there. So we'd go and sit in the cars. I'd play with the car because that was like the only time I could play with a car, right? Like
Yeah.
an
Oh yeah.
actual car. And like I remember I turned the signal on accident, like the left turn signal, and I was like, how do I turn this off? My mom had to help me, but I was like, what the hell? Um, but the biggest thing that I've talked about with you like every single time because it's every time I'd go in that building, I'd have to play video games, and I would have to do this one thing because I loved doing this thing. it was the whole like day in the life thing of your future where they would have you take a
Oh yeah.
picture. They'd have you take a picture. You'd answer like different questions and like that stuff, and depending on what you answered, it would generate this like thing for you where it was like you're waking up in your car. You're living in a great big beautiful city, big giant city. You know, it's like you could either live in the city or the countryside or whatever, and like it had a whole different thing. And I used to do that every single time because I loved doing that.
That was funny because so for us, because it premiered at Spaceship Earth at Disney World, and that was always the down as you were
Hmm.
going out of the sphere, you would go and do this the little jib jab video thing. And it was funny when it came to California, I was like, oh, this is like our little piece of Florida.
Dude,
It's for our trips. I love, yeah,
it was so good. It was
it
so
was
good.
it was
And
fun.
then don't even get me started on just the house of like it was amazing.
Yeah,
It's the whole
I'm
smart
a
home
little
stuff.
bummed. It was yeah. I that was the peak was
Yes.
2007.
Ugh,
That I think was the peak because that was the year that we got the subs, which I know I'm alone in my love of the
very much
subs, but
actually, very much. Very much.
but
If they announced that that was going away tomorrow, I would literally be like, we're getting on tomorrow and we're gonna talk about this. Like this is
better not,
this
better
is
not.
like I'd be there every day if I could to watch that thing get torn down.
Yeah, well, you know what? In order to tear it down, you got to tear down what's on top. And that's Autopia. But no,
Honestly, I think that's
that
okay.
summer,
I think that's okay at this point. But
that summer though, when they had the dream home and you'd go on the rotating part and you'd have tomorrow, yeah, it was just tomorrow, and then they would go and you'd move in to, it was always like the dad was there and
something like that, and then it was. But I remember there was like a whole thing. Like it was obviously
it's all 15 years
you
ago.
were inside a like a show building, obviously, but
Mhm.
they had a whole outside decorated area like that was
Yeah.
supposed to be like a whole thing and had lights and. I remember that was the whole. That was at the time the curtains that would move up that were the electronic curtains that would come down and everything. That was
Mhm.
a big thing at the time. That wasn't
Smart
in the
house.
average household.
Yeah.
So it was like a whole like you saw you're like what the is this dude? You're like Jesus like I didn't think this technology existed like type of thing, right? Even though that thing was like had been around for a couple years at that point, I think, but it wasn't in an
Yeah.
average like in your average household thing. But um, and even today, man, like it's like you're just like wow, like you know
Hmm.
digital like thermostats. You got like stuff like Ring, Nest, all that stuff
Yeah, and they had something like
that
that
was all in
in
that
there,
stuff, and
wasn't it?
you're like,
Yeah.
dude, this is crazy. Like, this is not gonna happen in our lifetime. This is all like, that was literally like what I don't know about you, but that's literally what like we talked about it in my family. We're like, oh, this isn't gonna happen anytime soon, though. Like, this is all just
Right. Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
So it's like,
remember, and like they talked about like I mean DVRs were around at the time, but there was something about it, which is that you could pick up one show in one room and then pick it up in another room,
yeah.
and that seemed revolutionary at the time.
And I'm like,
And
dude, like,
yeah,
I I love that thing so much. And then there was I think it was part of the upstairs, or was it part of the smart home stuff too, where you would literally go and we talked about this when we last time we went to Disneyland. Me and you, it was they had it was for little kids, but you would go in there and they had the Jolly Roger. It was like a little small mini
oh
scale of the
yeah,
Jolly Roger thing where you would
hmm
go and they'd tell you a story, and they would always have like a little kid. They'd have a little kid participate where you would shoot the cannon, and like during
yeah,
the whole they have a whole wall effect. That was so cool. I did that a
that was
couple
cool.
times.
That
Uh,
was that was in the house. That was like the
yes,
boys
yeah,
the boys room.
that was so cool, man. We would spend hours in there because I would just love to do that. It felt like Disneyland, but didn't feel like Disney
It
in a
was
weird
yeah. I mean,
way.
it was like quintessential like old school Tomorrowland
Hmm.
feel. It felt like the House of the Future,
And
but I mean, House of
I
Inventions, but yeah.
was just blown away, man. I was like, Jesus. And then they took Inventions away.
But it was a slow. That's what was sad. It was a slow,
Yes.
painful.
I actually remember. Did
Oh,
yeah, if I remember correctly, you didn't like Osmo, right? You hate it. You didn't
I
really
ne
like that
well,
outfit.
no, I always wanted to see it, and I never
Oh, okay.
made it to the show.
It was
No,
actually a good show.
yeah, no, I would have loved to have seen it.
Um,
I don't like him on the Autopia. I don't like that storyline. Soy
yeah.
Soy Bird, nuh-uh.
Yeah. Oh, you're so weird, bro. You're so weird. I
No,
I, we talked about it. We love the Chevron version. The Chevron version is just peak.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna.
Like
Yeah,
you can't beat that. But we had talked about this previously in another podcast. I forgot which episode it was, but where we had a short little stint where we were like me and you were like, dude, like there used to be two lanes that would go over. One would go over like the water of the pond,
yeah.
and we're like, dude, like this is like, but we never found footage on it, and so we were like, dude, are we crazy or something like that? Like I don't like remember that, and then you had found footage, but
Mhm.
but yeah, I remember that specifically that Autotopia, that was cool. That specific
Yeah.
version of Autotopia.
2000, yeah, 2000 Chevron Autopia was the best. It's
Because they took the lane away eventually. They still had Chevron, but they took the lane away eventually. And then
which,
I think shortly after that, right? They had like it was probably Chevron for like a year, which just was single, like where they didn't have the water lane, the water bridge lane, and then it switched
well,
over
no,
to Honda.
well, no, they built. It was like that before they built the expansion to the submarine voyage,
Oh,
and
okay,
then
okay.
that's what. Because now you can. I mean, that's still there, but it's just now it's all show building.
Yeah,
So it just looks like you're sitting on top of a rock or something.
yeah. Which
But yeah, I know that was cool.
that one was really cool. Because there are also if you rode at a certain time of day, if you were on the left track, you would look over to the right and you'd see like the sun. Look, it was perfect. Like the literally, it was like one of those movie shots, dude, where
Oh
we're coasting
yeah,
around. You see like the sun setting right in the background. Sky is orange, and you just see like golden water and I remember specifically, dude. I was like, oh my god, this is peak. This is
it
peak
was
fiction.
it
It
was good. No, yeah, I mean that whole. I mean that was when Tomorrowland was like
was
not
booming, man.
not not. It was good. Yeah, it was. I mean, it was still kind of new. It was only 10 years after the refurb, so Rocket Rods wasn't there and stuff like that. But it was that area they refreshed it nice enough. It was nice enough with interventions and all that.
And then, do you remember the when they did the whole Iron Man thing for Iron Man 3, the Iron Man experience in the Innovations building?
Yeah,
When you could
that's the
do
slow, painful death
when you
of
could do the
interventions.
when you could do the which was cool because they had all the Iron Man armor suits. That was cool.
Yeah,
And then they had the little Iron Man experience, which was always wonky because like I think it used like Connect, but it was like very early VR, very early VR.
yeah. Hmm.
And like it was be wonky at times. You'd be like this, and the hand would be like that for some reason.
I
Like
do
it just
remember this.
it didn't sync up sometimes, but it was a fun time. And then they made it Launch Bay, and I love my Star Wars, I do, but that
Well,
it sucks, dude. I miss
well,
Innovation so much.
Launch Bay never took over that whole space, and I liked when Interventions was the two things. It
Yeah,
was like
no,
the
Launch
top
Bay's
floor was
very small.
the expo. It's very small. They don't even use. I mean, they use most of the bottom floor for the meet and
Meet
greets
and
and
greet
stuff. I
stuff,
mean,
yeah, but
but yeah, that second floor is completely abandoned, really, which is such a shame. I mean, that do you realize that that building has been abandoned more years than it's been open now?
yeah,
With the
it's
way
insane.
with
And it
between
closes so early, which
it
makes no
closes
sense to
early,
me.
yeah. Which I mean,
Because Innovations never closed early, I don't think, right? It never closed. It was open
you
from
know,
park to from
they
opening to close, right?
they might have closed at like 7 or 8 or something like that. But I mean,
It definitely
now
didn't
I
close
feel
at
like Launch Bay
12.
closed. Right? Yeah, no, Launch Bay. I
It's open
sometimes
for
I
like
walk by and I'm
yeah, it's open for like 3 hours.
yeah. Which people want to see the original trilogy characters. They want to see Darth Vader. They want to
Yeah,
see
because they have actual
those
props in
characters.
there too. It's actual
Right?
props.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't see why you don't keep that open. But
Me neither.
it's that
I don't know, man.
it's that weird thing where they don't know what to do with Tomorrowland now, and they don't know what to do
Well, you have
with original
That
trilogy.
DVC lounge in there now.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah, that's right. It's up
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
So
Which, I mean, I wish I was a member to go up there
it'd
because
be
it'd have
cool to
a nice
see.
homage. Yeah.
Yeah, but
So I guess they did reuse the top floor because yeah, that is on the top floor.
was it? Well, is it like a big giant land? I thought it was like a small little like section of it though.
It is. Yeah, yeah. No, it's not the full thing.
Yeah.
It's probably just the like. Remember where Honeywell? I think that's the company.
Yeah,
They would
it
show
was
you how
like
old you
yes,
were.
I remember. Yeah, and it had like that whole
Yeah.
test thing you were able to do. I
Yeah.
forgot what you specifically did there, but you were able to do something. You know, after this, I'm gonna look up Innoventions and see if I can find some old footage of just Innovention stuff.
Well, see, before this, I looked up. Somebody had recorded the like 19. It was like 1999. So you have the
Good God.
original like that where you would like get into the thing and Tom Morrow would do like the home zone or it was the
Yeah,
sports zone or it was the
and 240
transportation
480p.
zone. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, you don't know what the heck that was. He could have been solid gold dancer. I don't know.
Oh
But
man,
yeah, no, that was cool.
it was a fun time, dude. It's a fun time. There's
Yeah.
there's
Along the
there's so much we could
so
literally
much.
reminisce about.
Yeah, I know. I missed the old Moonliner before it got Pizza Planeted. Just that whole back corner. Just take me back to a different time.
If they had made Pizza Planet actual Pizza Planet, we'd be
Hmm.
talking. But when you just
Right.
slap the name on it, put some aliens in there, it's not Pizza Planet, man. Where's the
That's
arcade?
fun.
Put the
Exactly. But
arcade in there.
I know they got space. They got space back there. I mean, I never see anyone sitting over there in that extended
Only when
dining
it's
area
super
over
busy.
by the entrance. Yeah,
But for the most part, yeah, you can usually find a seat inside usually.
but that's kind of cool too because you can look up and see the original
Yeah.
circle of the original Flight to the Moon
Yeah, you can see the ring
theaters.
fence.
Really,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's
But
kind of cool. Oh, so many, so many great
we
memories.
gotta go, man. We gotta go.
We
We've
do.
been gone. We've been absent from the game for too long.
Too long. I know. I know. I
But
know. So before we head out, we have a new segment
hmm
that we're calling "What are you liking right now? What are you loving?" Just things in the Disney universe that we are enjoying right now. What's something that do you want me to go first?
yeah,
Do
go
you
ahead.
have a
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah? Well, I'm gonna say what I'm loving right now is I'm getting back into reading
Hmm.
about Disney because I took a break for a while, and this is one of my favorite books. It's 3 Years in Wonderland by Todd James Pierce, and it is all about the 3 years of them building and then opening Disneyland
Hmm.
in the 50s. So it starts with really Walt getting started with the idea and all that stuff like that, and just going through all of the construction problems, all of the opening problems, the after opening problems, because no one talks about how a lot of things happened, and um, C.V. Wood, who anyone who knows anything about him, was involved in the construction of Disneyland and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
wasn't always the most upstanding citizen. This book is wild, though. I mean, there's a whole part in it, and it's really just well documented. Like he just really did his research.
That's
But there's
cool.
this one story where they need to clear the old houses that are on the property, and to get the permitting and all that stuff like that, they're not going to have enough time to get it done in time to build the parking lot. And so they kind of sort of set them on fire
Yeah, I
and
remember that
arson.
they talked about that
Yeah,
in behind the attraction for the Jungle Cruise. I remember they had said it just miraculously caught on fire somehow.
right. Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
It's not like a bunch of guys didn't just get drunk one night and start lighting matches.
so that's really cool, though.
But
That's really cool.
it's a great, yeah. It's a great book.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Well, me on the other hand, we're gonna take it's not educational in a sense,
Mhm.
but and we're gonna shrink it down real small, but it is these so I mean me and you both, but we're both fans of Lego,
Mhm.
and Lego is doing has always had a partnership with Disney for a long time, but
Mhm.
right now they're also celebrating the Disney 100. If you guys don't know, if you guys aren't into the whole Lego scene, um, they currently have blind mystery packs that just actually got like released like May 3rd. They came out. Um, was is little mystery packs, where it's random minifigures, and there's 18 of them, and I have a little picture of them from when I got the thing, and you can kind of see. It's gonna be backwards, unfortunately, but we have Oswald, Pinocchio, Jiminy Cricket, Sorcerer Mickey, Tiana, Dr. Facilier, Pocahontas, Miguel, Ernesto de la Cruz, Mulan, Aurora, Queen of Hearts, Evil Queen, Baymax, 626 Stitch, King John, Robin Hood, and Corella Deville. It's really cool, really cool. I've actually got my girlfriend a couple of these. She has Baymax and Stitch, and I need to get Oswald. I don't have Oswald. I need to get Ernesto de la Cruz because these are exclusive minifigures that aren't in any sets. I know they had one for Peter Pan last year,
Yeah.
who's now in a set. He's now in a set, so maybe these will come to the sets. But as of right now, these are not any sets. The only way you can get them. But I wanted really badly. I was able to get them. It is the Sorcerer Mickey minifigure right here. So and it's pretty cool. It has a whole Disney 100 plaque on it. The bottom there for him to stand on, a little broom, and a bucket. And the minifigure is just really well done. I mean, it's really nice. You know.
Yeah, they don't look. I mean, they really do. Like I said earlier, they really do translate well.
It's really good.
To the thing. Yeah,
it's really good.
They don't look. They actually look like the characters.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
I'm big on Lego right now. Like I literally have like so many of this stuff here. There's a mini Death Star here. There's a little
because they do
mini X-wing.
They did the Star Wars
stuff. They did the
too,
Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually just recently had a May the 4th week type of thing. Where if you just, but you had to spend $150 for all this stuff. I spent a lot of money, but it's okay. Here's a little commemorative Death Star coin. Very nice. I actually have one of these as well. I mean, I just like collecting this type of stuff. I don't think I actually ever showed this. I don't think I ever actually showed you. I mean, I sent you a picture of it back when, but it was the whole medallion partner statue.
Oh yeah. Wait, you got it?
I did. Yeah, I got this a while ago.
Okay.
The day I went on the Lilybell, actually.
Okay, all right.
Which
I think you did tell me.
Yeah, this actually was not that expensive. Actually, I was very surprised. I think it was like $80, something like that, or 40, something like that. It was very cheap, for this kind of thing. It's a limited edition 5,000 set, 4,555, and it's just really cool. I don't know if I can get this out of the thing.
That's at the Disney Gallery.
It was it's right near Main Street. That the Disney Gallery. Nobody ever really goes in there. It's not very crowded there.
I go in there all the time, and that's where I do my damage. That's
they have a lot of stuff. They have paintings, all that stuff.
Of it.
Really, some good merch there, and they have a bronze e-ticket, and I really wanted that, but that one's $150.
That's one.
That one was a little bit like I was like, I'd rather get some Legos, honestly. This is really cool. I haven't been there in a minute, so I'm not sure if this stuff is still there. From what I would know from this guy had told me I was talking to the guy about it because I was like, I noticed it's like you guys are almost sold out of it. Like, how long has it been here? He goes, we've had this here for about like 3 years now, I think. He said it's been there for a minute. Yeah, not many people really knew about it. He goes, so I think it'll be fine. But I went ahead and got it anyway because it's really cool. I mean, eventually it'll be gone, right? So it keeps falling. Yeah. But it's really cool. We'll have to look on our next trip to Disney. We'll go in there, kind of take a look around. But I like to collect stuff like that, a lot of stuff like that. So I have a bunch of whole like little mini stuff. So that's really what I'm into right now, and kind of what's on my plate with Disney, kind of.
Well, that's cool. So, yeah, I love going in there because that's where they do like in 2019 they had the what was it, the 60th anniversary monorail and Matterhorn stuff, and the pins and all that stuff were just so cool.
There's a lot of stuff, yeah. I mean, I used to be big on pins. I don't know if you can tell back there. I was huge on pins. There's a whole thing, man.
This is a little dusty, but this is one of my favorites. I got an opening day of
Galaxy's Edge pin. Gosh, dude.
Yeah.
There's so many. I have on my old lanyards there. I have some of the when they came out with the when they did the whole Star Wars pin line.
Oh yeah.
Have some of those. Have the hardest one to get, which was Yoda, Stitch's Yoda. Have that one. There's a whole lot of ones on there that I really enjoy. There's some buttons on there that don't really count, but yeah, I think I have a Chernobog pin that I was really happy to get.
That's cool.
I have there's a whole thing, a whole bunch of stuff on there, dude. I have some like Haunted Mansion key pins, a whole lot of stuff on there. Really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I never got like super into the pins, but I always got if there was a new attraction opening or something like that.
I used to be big on those things. 100%.
You'd go up to the boards and be all like, "I'll trade you." I never could get into.
I never used to do the trading thing. Okay, so I guess we're not gonna end it right away. But did you ever used to do VMK?
I remember VMK. I never.
Dude, I used to do VMK so much. Remember when they used to actually have the cards there, like at Tomorrowland?
Yeah,
And
Virtual Magic
yes,
Kingdom, and they
oh
had a
my
whole
god,
kiosk and everything.
I loved that game. That was so good, dude. It was like literally like a whole. It was just like a little mini like MMO type thing in the
Yeah,
Disney universe. Disney was amazing for this. I really think they should do it again because I think it would be
yeah.
a
Oh, it
huge
would.
thing.
Yeah, I mean,
God,
they're-
VMK was cool. If I remember correctly, I think you. I don't remember if you could actually spend real money on it, but I remember you were able to get like different clothes and stuff like that. You were able to get like like you had your own like little house in the Magic Kingdom, and there was a whole like a lot of things to do. This is back when we had only one computer. We had like a family computer, so me and my sister would take turns on it, and like a whole. I loved VMK. I love VMK. I
that
miss it
is
so much.
that is wild that you brought that up because I have not heard that. I mean, I always remember like, yeah, I wonder what happened with that,
I
and
think
it
I
just
think the company that did it like went bankrupt or something. I don't remember what it
yeah,
was. I think, but like yeah, it was.
that's
I
always how it goes
I miss
because Disney
VMK.
can never. That's why I'm in Toontown and Club Penguin and all those things.
Club Penguin, yeah.
They'll-
Toontown Online. Oh yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean Online. Oh dude. Bring it back. Bring it back, dude. Oh gosh.
oh, wow! Now that is the way to end this show because that is one deep cut.
Dude,
'Cause I
VMK
think
man. I love that.
yeah, that only happened at Disneyland. I don't even think Disney World got any of that.
Wow, that's
It was
crazy.
a Disneyland thing, but man,
Yeah, because it was based off Disneyland. It was very heavily
mm,
based off Disneyland.
yeah. So, well, that's our look back on some of the things that we remember fondly and not so fondly, I guess. In the case of Bugs Land, or
Yeah.
Tough to Be a Bug. But you ready to put this one
Think
into the
it's think
past?
it's time, yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, everyone, thanks again. Thanks for watching and listening. For Armando, I'm Steve, and we'll see you next time with another edition of the Way of Magic podcast. Have a great week, everyone. See you next time.
Hey there, everyone. Thanks for watching this episode of the Way of Magic podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and you like our content, don't forget to subscribe and like this episode, and don't forget to turn on notifications for when we upload.
And if you prefer to listen to this podcast instead, you can find the Way of Magic podcast on Amazon Music, Google Podcast, Spotify, and even Spotify for podcasters. Thanks for listening.